Hi guys, my name is Bobby and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing my review on Richard Lehmann's The Beast House. Now, The Beast House was released in 1986 and it is the second book in the Beast House quartet. So the first one was The Cellar. We all know how I felt about The Cellar. And so this is book 2. Now I rated it 3 stars, so better than The Cellar. I will give it that. It's pretty much the same formula and the same setup as The Cellar, only done slightly better. There was a little bit more intrigue. I just know, like, after reading this one, I just know that I'm not a fan of his Beast House series. I don't mind his other books. Like, I like a lot of his other books, but the Beast House series is just not for me. Like, I don't understand, and I don't find it fun to read about when women all of a sudden, like, their panties drop for this weird looking beast just because he has a large penis and is supposedly, like, makes the sex and the orgasm so much better. But it's a beast. Like, it's not human. That's just, anyways. So this kind of follows the same premise as the Cellar, only slightly different. You have 2 women, Tyler and Nora, who are traveling to Malcalsa Point, where the Beast House is, to look for one of Tyler's exes. Like, she kind of let him go. He was like, I shouldn't have let him go. I'm still in love with him, whatever. He's a police officer. They figure out that that's where he's at. So they're traveling to go find him or whatever. So then on the side plot, you have this girl named Janice, who's a teenager whose parents operate the hotel in Malcalsa Point. And she contacts an author, because she finds the diary of the woman who, I can't remember her name, the woman who owned the Beast House in the past and is the one that started, like, mating with the beasts. She, like, had a diary about their experience, and I touched about that a little bit in the Cellar, like, where you read her diary and she talks about how great the sex was, and, like, how she would always, like, fuck him in her cellar and all this stuff, and he had the tunnels that went out and blah blah blah. So it's her diary, and so she is trying to get the author to sell the diary. She wants to sell the diary to him, and, like, so he could write a, like, tell-all scary story or whatever about it, and she would get a cut of the profits. So then, of course, he comes to the town because she's like, I'm not just going to send this to you. So he comes to the town, so he comes into the mix. So you got the 2 girls, and you've got the author, and then shit happens. This one I'm deciding I'm not really going to spoil because I did enjoy it a little bit more. While it does have an excessive amount of sex, like, with these beasts, which is just appalling to me. Like, I don't get that. Like, I don't mind, like, especially in these kind of books. Like, this is a horror book where it is like splatterpunk horror, or, like, you know, the extreme horror, where there's a lot of gratuitous sex and gratuitous violence, and that's what makes them fun. That's what makes it fun to read, where you're sitting there going, I'm reading something I'm not supposed to be. And that's why I loved them so much in my teens, because I was like, oh my god, there's so much sex in this. Like, if my mom caught me reading this, then my mom wouldn't have given a shit. But still, it's like one of those things, like, if somebody were reading over your shoulder and saw what you were actually reading, they'd be horrified. I love horror like that. That's, like, my favorite type of horror. And I don't mind if the sex is between 2 humans. I just don't like it when it's, like, some amalgam of a human or a human-like, humanoid, whatever. It's, no. No. I don't care how big his dick is or how good it feels. No. No. So for me, like, I'm not going to spoil it only because I did enjoy it more than The Cellar. But it was pretty twisted. You do get to see Donna and Sandy. That's a little spoiler alert. And they were the mom and the daughter from the first one. At the very end, they're locked in the dungeon and all that. You get to see them again towards the end of this story. So they do show up. So that's, you know, they do connect again. And I did like seeing that. That was kind of nice. But, I mean, it still had his level of ridiculousness. Richard Lehmann does have a level of ridiculousness that you just can't ignore. And that was in here as well. But it wasn't as, you know, really bad. Like, there was no child rape in this one. Like, you know, 10-year-old child rape. So that was good. There was in The Cellar. And it wasn't as bad as Beware, where there was, like, all sorts of shit, random shit in there that nobody really cared about, like, and it was just like, focus on something. This one had a nice focused story, but it was still very formulaic, and where it went just the same as The Cellar did. It was kind of like the same formula. 2 girls show up to town, you know, mother and daughter this time, 2 20-something best friends this time, show up to town, and they're looking for somebody, or they're trying to get away from somebody, book 1. They're trying to find somebody, book 2. They show up at the Beast House, and, you know, book 1, they need to go in the Beast House to try to hide from the person that's chasing them. Book 2, they need to go in the beast house to find out why the person they're looking for died. Book 2, you know what I mean? Like, it's like formulaic, just tweak just a little bit. But I did enjoy this one better, and that's why I gave it 3 stars. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm really sorry if that was totally concise. I'm trying to make my Richard Lehman reviews a little bit better, but the problem is I'm not enjoying any of them yet. Like, I haven't gotten to the books that I really love of his, and the next one I'm a little nervous about as well. The next one on the list is Flesh, and I'll be reading that in March. That one I'll also have to do on Kindle. Hopefully I can find it. I'm pretty sure, because it's one of his more common ones. I don't think I've read that one. I don't think I have. I don't think that's one I've read. I think my mom read it and she said it wasn't one of his better ones. I'm starting to notice his earlier 80s ones aren't as good as his 90s ones, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I just got to read through them. I had set myself to do this, and I've set this goal for myself, and I'm going to accomplish it, so it's going to happen. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry my reviews aren't the best yet. I'm working on it. I'm trying to be more concise, and, you know, do you like it if I spoil it? Would you rather I don't spoil it? Like, I mean, I guess I could do half non-spoiler, half spoilery. I mean, my kind of thing is, if I hate the book, I'm going to fucking spoil it. I'm going to tell you right from the get-go, I'm spoiling this, I hated it, I have to rant about it. If I did enjoy it to a degree, I probably won't spoil it. Granted, I did spoil a couple of points in here, but, I mean, I didn't really get into all of it. I mean, a little bit, I guess. Hopefully it wasn't too spoilery if you do choose to read this. But yeah, let me know down below if you've read this, what you thought about it. Again, thanks so much for watching. Like, I know these aren't the greatest, but I'm trying to get better at it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.